Okay, first up is a 15 Honda Pilot. Came to us for a check engine light, and it just needed these little oil pressure switches for the camshaft timing. Now, this isn't the same oil pressure switch for the engine. This is just to tell the computer that something happened. So when the computer wants to move the timing of the camshafts, it looks for oil pressure to go from one end to the other, or at least in this area, and it will confirm that the valve timing is being adjusted correctly. So these are just there basically just to make the check engine light come on. But either way, we got them from Honda. They're really common. They got a ton of them in stock, and vehicle is back on the road. Okay, next up is a 12 Volkswagen Beetle. This came to us for a check engine light, and the engine was running rough. Very common. The PCV system is part of this valve cover, just like so many other cars. That's what it looks like without it. You can see the camshafts. There's the new valve cover going back on. There's a diaphragm in there that ruptures and causes an internal vacuum leak. We did all the spark plugs and all the ignition coils while we were in there. Super, super common. And there it is. It's all set. Vehicle is back on the road. All right, next up is an '07 Range Rover. First time customer came to us for a transmission fluid leak. Very common. This connector goes bad. You do have to drop the pan in order to get to it. So we replaced the filter while we're in there, which is actually the entire pan. So the pan and filter are serviced as an assembly. And it got a fresh fluid change. And there it is, all done. And the vehicle is back on the road. Okay, next up is a 11 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Came to us because the AC didn't work. We charged it up and immediately it all came out of the AC condenser. You can actually see there was dye in the system and all that dust kind of collects to the dye. This is also the transmission cooler and that was leaking too. So we were able to fix the air conditioning leak and the transmission leak all in the same repair. And of course, you got to take the front bumper cover off. What else is new? Everything came out great. We put a fresh cabin filter in it as well. And the vehicle is back on the road. All right, next up is an '04 Honda Civic, and it came to us for a nasty fuel smell, and the top of the fuel pump was leaking, and the whole car smelled like gas. These plastic fuel pumps, they crack on the top, very, very common. I'm so glad they gave you an access panel. More and more cars are doing this, so you don't have to drop the tank. We didn't have to mess with any of the rusted lines on the bottom of the car. It was able to come right out through the inside of the vehicle, which is the way every single vehicle should be. There's the new fuel pump. We were able to handle it same day. These are reliable cars, 22 years old, still going. This car was super clean, and the vehicle is now back on the road. All right, next up is a '16 Porsche Macan. We forgot to take a picture of it outside, so I got that for you. It just came in for a noisy wheel bearing. Needed the driver's front wheel bearing. It's a bolt-on bearing, but you do need to press the hub out. Uh, this is the exact same bearing on an Audi Q5, some Volkswagens. In fact, the entire vehicle is really a Volkswagen. I don't know how much Porsche stuff is actually in here, but it's all Volkswagen stuff. So if you work on Volkswagen and Audi, you can definitely work on these Porsches because it's like 99% Volkswagen. We were able to get it done same day, and the vehicle is back on the road. Next up is an '07 Toyota Sienna. It's only here for maintenance. The vehicle needed nothing. And check out the mileage on this one. These people have been coming here for years. They take care of it. This vehicle just keeps going and going and going and going. All right, next up is an '09 Lexus IS 250. And this is a great customer, takes very good care of his car. He's just here for four struts. Three out of the four were blown. And fortunately, they make what's called loaded struts. You'll see in a minute where the strut and the spring and the mount and everything can be swapped out all as one unit. You no longer have to take it all apart, find out you need even more parts. You can just swap out the entire thing. And it also helps out better if you get a warranty it. You don't have to take it all apart. You can just swap it out, send it back. But that rarely ever happens. But this thing has like 200,000 miles on it, and it is going to ride like new again. The job came out good. Some of the bolts gave us a hard time, mainly because we live in the Northeast, but we were able to reuse everything and get it all done on the same day, and enjoy the rest of the video here. And the vehicle is back on the road. All right, next up is an 11 Volvo XC60, first time customer, and unfortunately it needed an AC compressor. This one was right under the hood. Probably one of the only cars where you could change the AC compressor under the hood. Volvo does a lot of weird things, and on this particular vehicle, the belts are on the transmission side of the engine, not where the belts traditionally are, but the compressor was under the hood, and of course the condenser. You need to remove the front bumper cover, and a few other things. I mean, you got to pull the whole front end apart on a lot of cars today. I think it's because the aerodynamics of the vehicle, or whatever it is, but seems to be a regular thing. Bumper cover off, intake manifold off. We had a couple guys on this one. I actually did some of the filming on this, and we were able to get it done. Well, within a couple of days. We had to wait on parts. We had to make sure this was the problem because this was all done a few years back at another shop. I'm not sure what parts they use, but we stand behind everything we do, and everything came out great. AC is ice cold, and the vehicle is back on the road. All right, next up is a 13 Toyota RAV4. Surprisingly, this thing got towed in for a no start. I thought it was going to need a battery or maybe a key fob, but no, the fuel pump quit. Now you can see the giant crack in there. We replace these all the time for that crack. They usually cause an evap leak and a check engine light. This wasn't the case, but it was going to need one anyway. But this thing actually broke down and got towed in. Very surprisingly, most Toyotas will go their entire life without ever being on the back of a tow truck. They are the most reliable vehicles on the road. We were able to get it done same day, and the vehicle is back on the road. All right, next up is a 15 Volvo S60, first time customer. Came to us for a check engine light, a bunch of misfires. Very common. Instead of using a PCV valve, they use this crankcase breather. They go bad on Volvos, Volkswagens, BMW, Mercedes. I mean, they all use these fancy things, and they all go bad. So it looks like the regular PCV valve worked better. We were able to get it done same day. The vehicle is back on the road. All right, and now we have our shop question. Somebody wanted to know what it's like to look a car over for state inspection. Mainly what they mean is how you check emissions now. It's out of this port right here. It's called the OBD2 port. And you basically hook up a scan tool or any simple $20 tool will work. And it'll show you how many tests have run, how many tests have not run. Basically, the tests are called monitors. Some of the monitors are complete, some of them are incomplete. Most vehicles, 2001 and newer, They can have one incomplete and still pass, but if there's any more than that, the vehicle still needs to be driven around. All right, you guys have a great week. Thank you very much for watching.